Hello neighbors, it's Brad here at Etrailer, and today we're taking a look at installing the Lippert Flexguard. Now this is going to be for your camper slide out, making sure that you keep your wires protected and not kinking when opening and closing. Now this is available in 3 different options. You have a single hole, a double hole as you see here, and then also a triple, and that way you can make it fit to your configuration. This heavy-duty flexible rail is going to keep all your wires and plumbing in place when your camper slide out goes in and out. And basically that's going to keep it from pinching any wires or having these catch on anything. It really just keeps these in place nice and secure, but it still allows them to flex as it goes back and forth. Now many campers have these installed from the factory, and over time as you use it and it's exposed to elements, these can get a little bit brittle and break. Well, not to worry, you can replace it. And also if you have a camper and you go, hey, I could maybe use that, some of my wires hang down, you can add it to pretty much any of them as it's a universal fit. It's pretty easy installation and all the hardware is included. Now this works with electrical wires as well as flexible plumbing, so anything that you have running out on your slide that you're worried about pinching or kinking up, this is going to fix that. So as you can see, as the slide goes in, this is going to just keep those cables nice and in place, and that way they're not kinking or binding up or catching on anything else on the slide. So nice peace of mind knowing that you can slide your camper out no problem with no damage to any of your plumbing or your electrical. So as you can see, it went in smoothly when we retracted our slide. Now it goes just as easy on the way out. Now, as far as the installation, it's pretty simple. You can replace your existing one, or if you're adding a new one, it's also very easy. So let's take a look at that. So you can see this is the one that is on the camper currently, and this being cracked really gains us nothing. This wire can easily crunch back up, and it doesn't really have that protection anymore. It's nice that it's still in these slots to kind of keep it from dragging or catching, but overall, obviously you can see this is dragging. So to replace this, it's pretty easy, and you can actually reuse a lot of the hardware that's installed. In fact, you can reuse the screws, and we have our mount bracket there. As the kit comes with a new one, I really don't have to replace it. It's pretty simple. So here we have our existing mount bracket, and it's pretty simple. Nothing's bent, nothing's damaged. If you want to replace this when you're putting your new guard on, you can totally do that, but I think ours is working pretty fine, and it just self-taps in there with some screws. So if you want to put new ones on, you do have the hardware in the kit as well. So in order to get this off though, you're going to see this little spacer here, or this washer, just kind of holds it in place, and this one has obviously seen better days. So we'll just go ahead and I can pull this off by hand, or even a pair of pliers might work well. But once that's off, this may work down just a little bit, and then we'll slide off pretty easy. Now, to save us having to unattach our wires here and spool them through these brackets, all of these are actually perfectly fine. There's nothing actually broken on them. So it's going to be a lot easier to just simply slide these off, and it's going to keep the wires intact. Now, if you're putting this on and this isn't already installed, you're going to have to detach your wires or route these through. It's not too big of a deal, but to save you a little bit of time, if this is the piece that's broken, which that's going to see a lot of the flex, so chances are if you're replacing it, it probably is just this piece. So now I'm going to slide these off, and they come off pretty easy here. And the only thing holding it, you can see there's these 3 screws here. I'm just going to go ahead and take these out. Okay, with these screws out, this is just going to pop off here. Now we can grab our new one. So now I have my new piece. You can see it's kind of it's definitely formed to want to contract. So with this, pretty much all I'm going to do, make sure that I have this kind of lined up how I want it, and I'm just going to slide these through, and it's going to be that simple. It's going to be that simple as well for the single, the double, and the triple. Now if you do want to replace these, if some of them have broken, you are going to have to detach your wires in order to get these slid on. Now, if you're able to reuse these, I do suggest that just to make it a little bit easier. Otherwise, you are going to have to detach your wires. This one feeds into a junction box. This one has wire nuts, but this one to detach that might get a little tricky. So if you want to go that route, by all means you can do that, but we're going to simply just reuse our old ones here. And to make it pretty easy, I kind of have this coiled around my torso here, just kind of hold it in place. And then I'm just going to slip these on one at a time. And then once they're on there, we can space them out a little more. So I have these kind of ran on our little plastic slide here. I'm just going to reuse these same holes here and use the same screws. Now again, there are self-tapping screws that are included in the kit, and you can by all means go ahead and re-tap some holes in there and get them in place, but this should work pretty well for us right here. I've gone ahead and actually used some of the self-tappers just to give it an extra hold. Before we had 3, now we have 4, and it's going to hold on there nice and tight. So now we're going to uncoil this, and this is going to simply slide up on the shaft here that we previously pulled it off from. So now we're simply going to slide this on, and then once it's all the way up, we have this little washer here that has teeth, and that, once you slide it up, is going to bite into the metal a little bit, and it's going to keep it in place. Now it does take a little bit of force here, but the reason that force is there is to make sure that doesn't slide down. So now this new one's in place, it's flexible again, and I'm just simply going to take these little brackets here and slide them out, and that way the wires are actually following it. Now, if your slide doesn't go out as far as this one, it's actually kind of nice here. There's a whole nother set of holes about a foot back, and that way you can space that out to custom fit to yours. So now with everything in place, let's go ahead and test it out. And that was a look and installation of the Lippert Flexguard for your camper slide out. Thanks for watching.